Reviews, the biggest news, the what's new, and the who's who. Welcome to the Daily Gamer podcast with Joe Mango and James.
Welcome to the Daily Gamer podcast number
30
something. I actually forgot what we're on. What are we on, James?
33.
33? I mean, we're so far into it
That
now
was a wild guess.
that I can't even remember. But I'm going to tell you very soon. We are on podcast number 32 now. This is 32.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad. Pretty happy with that, 32.
Yeah, it's almost as old as you.
It's older than me, James.
Oh my god.
It's still a far away from your age, though. Oh.
Whatever. Oh.
Anyway, we have quite a lot of stuff coming up in the podcast. We're actually doing this from a new location, as the current location that we're usually at are actually being renovated. So we thought, you know what, let's do a bedroom podcast this week.
Essentially, it's not really a bedroom. It's my landing.
It's James's landing. Yeah, it's James's landing.
Which has a nice little majlis area.
It's very cozy.
It's cozy in here.
I do like it quite a lot. But you know, it's still the same, you know, old us. We're still going to talk about lots of games.
Yeah, of course.
I've been playing Dragons Dogma 2, so we're going to talk about that. I've put in a good amount of time into it, and I like it.
How many hours?
Whoa. You know, just ballpark, like 20.
Okay.
20 hours,
Right.
maybe 25, you know.
Rookie hours.
It's pretty easy to sink 3 hours, and it feels like 20 minutes have gone by on that game.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'll get into it in a bit. Let me say what else is coming up. James, what have you been playing? You've been playing
I've been playing Manor Lords.
Manor Lords. Yeah, which sounds cool. So we'll talk more about that. I have seen some stuff on it. I have got a list for you, which is just top 10 PS5 games.
Okay.
We actually did a video on it. So I'm going to go into more detail about the top 10 PS5 games that you can play this year, 2024.
Okay.
So that's quite cool. And yeah, we'll just see how things take us. Got a bit of news as well, like updates in the world that have been happening that we also post on our website, daily-gamer.net.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of that really.
And some updates on like what's buzzing right now.
What is buzzing?
Buzzing?
There's a new game that's just come out that the people are going crazy for, so I'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, and some general new releases. We can talk about those.
Yeah.
Coming out this May.
Cool. I know which one you're looking for.
Which one's that?
Stellar Blade.
Oh.
So all of that and more on the way for the Daily Game Podcast.
Yeah.
Let's get straight into it. I just want to talk about Dragons Dogma.
Okay.
Dragons Dogma 2, obviously. So this is actually like a sequel to Dragons Dogma that came out like 10 years ago or something. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
I think I played it on the Switch, in fact.
Really?
Yeah.
The Switch?
Very briefly.
Wow. But it is a really cool game. It is a open world RPG. And, you know, I'm going to do a bit of the downsides first, and then I can talk about all the good stuff.
So a reverse shit sandwich.
Yeah, basically. Because I feel like a lot of people tell you all the good things, and then they tell you the bad things, then you're left with a bad impression of it.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to leave. I want to leave a good impression, because I like the game.
Okay, good.
I would say the bad things are... And look, I get that this is the game, but the fast traveling in that is, like, not existent.
Oh, it's a lot
basically.
of walking.
You get, like, a fast travel system, but you have to get these tokens to do it. And you find them out and about, and you can buy them from vendors, but they're quite expensive.
Yeah.
And yeah, to start with, there's only a fast travel to the main city, and that's it. And then later on, you start to find these crystals that you can place down in certain areas, but I think you can only place like maximum of 8.
So
but if you want to use it, you have to use this currency, and once you've used that, you know, you use one, and that's like 10,000 gold gone, kind of thing.
So you have to be very strategic with your traveling.
Exactly. And also, like, as you're... And this isn't a downside to it, but obviously as you're going through the world, and if you start getting attacked and whatever, which happens all the time, not a bad thing, I like that. But you have a health bar, but as you're out and about, your health bar slowly decreases the more you get attacked. So you can't go back to full health unless you rest at a campsite.
Oh, that's kind of Soulsy, isn't it?
Yeah. But the campsite's cool.
A little bit.
But the funny thing is about the campsite is when you go camping, you could be attacked in the middle of the night.
Right.
So, you know, it's all of this stuff. But anyway, just the fast traveling thing, I mean, it would be nice just to be able to jump around a little bit more.
Yeah.
I get that, you know, you don't want to just be able to go anywhere whenever you want, but a little bit more help on that. Especially at the start of the game, you just do so much running. There's no mounts or anything like that. So you're just running, and you have a stamina bar that goes down pretty quickly. So you run, then you're now jogging for a bit, and then you're running again, and it's just, and because...
Can you ride horses? No.
No, there's no mounts at all. Just running.
What?
And you get in an encounter every 5 seconds. And right at the start of the game, there's like 3 hours of dialogue at the start of the game, and it's quite like, kind of does put you off a bit. But once you get past that, it gets amazing. But in that first 3 hours, you have to get from like one place to the main city, and you're pretty underpowered, and you don't really know how to play the game, right? So I just kept dying and dying and dying and dying and dying. And every time you die, if you want to respawn like on your last save, then it reduces your max health. In the end, I literally because you get pawns in this game, like 4 pawns. I ended up just running as fast as I could to the main place and just trying to get there.
Yeah,
it probably took me an hour and a half just to get to the place I needed to go, the main city.
Oh my god!
And it was such a relief.
It's like where you get upgrades and stuff.
Yeah, so they have different towns and villages and cities. This one's kind of the main city. It's called Vernworth, and this is where you're doing most of your main storyline to start with, anyway.
Okay.
Essentially,
how does it compare? Does it compare to like Skyrim? Does it compare to Dark Souls? Does it compare to...
Look, this is Capcom, all right? And this is Capcom's take on the genre. And what I like about it is they didn't just do something that's the same as something else.
Yeah.
It's not a Souls-like, because, you know, it doesn't have those types of mechanics. It doesn't have crazy, intricate bosses and whatever. It has giant bosses, but it has, like, you know, trolls and werewolf-type creatures, or... even like harpies and, you know, giant birds. What do you call them? Those giant griffin things, whatever.
Right.
It has these...
Wyverns.
Yeah, and there's like other ones there as well. But it's kind of like these big mythical creatures are the bosses, let's say. But you could just stumble upon them wherever. And sometimes they actually attack the major cities. And you've got to help the villagers that
cool.
are in there. And it's really fun. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
And it is, like, in a way, like in a small way, I feel like the narrative and the way that it... blanking on the game now. What's that game last year that's based off D&D? Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way, it's kind of like Baldur's Gate 3, where like everything you do in the game does affect what's going to happen later on.
Yeah.
If an NPC dies to a troll attack, right, they're now dead.
And
you can
no quests from that NPC.
Yeah, exactly. But what you can do is you can get these wake stones, and you can actually go and revive them. You can go down to the tombs in the city, and you can revive that person, and then they're alive again.
Really?
Yeah. You also have something called the Blight, or something like that, that basically... Well, let me just explain the pawn system first, because this is a big part of the game. So, sorry, to answer your question, it's not really like anything. It's like a bunch of different things. It's like Capcom's own thing.
Okay.
So I think, obviously it is similar to many games, but I think they've done it in a way that's a little bit different, especially for like a AAA, studio game. And it looks fantastic. The graphic options are really great. The voice acting is pretty good. I never really thought, oh, this is bad. I wouldn't say, oh, it's the best voice acting.
High budget sort of behind it.
Obviously the mouth moving is pretty naff sometimes.
As most open world RPGs are, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, look,
Bethesda-like.
I heard someone talk about that, saying how bad it was, and I was like, yeah, their mouths aren't moving at the exact same words that they're saying. Yeah. But I'm like, I'm not really bothered about that. Like, that's not the selling point of the game for me. So anyway, you have these pawns, and the pawns are like, people who follow you in a party. They're like AI characters, AI NPCs that follow you in your party. Yeah. And you have these different classes. I think there's like 8 or 9 classes. There's certain classes that only you can be, but your pawns can't be. But for example, you even create your first pawn. Like, you can make what they look like. So I made my wife as the main character, and then I made me as her pawn. And I kind of made a little bit of a mistake, because I did my height. Now, I'm not short, but I'm like 5'9.5", 5'10" kind of thing. But the bigger and taller you are, and the stronger you are, the more weight you can carry.
You can carry, yeah, because of strength. Yeah.
Yeah. So if I'd actually made my character bigger and bulkier, like really muscly, I could have carried way more loot, so I could have just dumped it all on my pawn. Anyway.
But you'd be slower.
No, I think it's just you can carry more. I don't know if it is you'll be slower, but anyway. So you create yourself, then you create your main pawn. So you've got your main pawn that you have throughout the whole thing. Now you can actually change the class of your main pawn to different classes.
Right.
I've made mine like a sword and shield tank type character.
Okay.
So I can let him take all the damage, and I can do other stuff.
That's good.
I started out as a thief, who's quite a quick one with 2 little blades. But then I changed to a sorcerer. No, is it a sorcerer? No, it's like a mage. I can't remember. It's called like mage or something like that. And that one is like kind of does magic things that can hurt enemies, like magic spells. But then it also does like healing and affliction, like getting rid of afflictions.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's more of a support character. Then I tried the sorcerer, which is more of like a high damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Mage type character. Now I've tried the I forgot what it's called. It's like he's got a twin blade thing. What's it called? Anyway, so now I've got like twin blades. So you can basically change classes.
A double ender.
Yeah. Ooh. Like Darth Maul kind of type thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's really cool. I like that one quite a lot. But as you're going up levels, you get these points, and then you can use those points to buy more skills for your class. And as you get up levels in your class, like it's called a vocation, not a class, sorry. In your vocation, you get up ranks. And as you get up ranks, you can unlock more spells for your vocation. But obviously, if you start a new vocation, you have to start at rank 1 again.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Makes
so
sense.
yeah, I've tried like 4 vocations now. I think I'm going to go with Archer next.
Ooh, that's my sort of thing is like Rogue.
Yeah.
Archery.
Yeah. The Rogue is cool, but the Rogue is very fast.
Yeah.
Which at the start, I was a bit like overwhelmed by it because I just started and I'm like, oh, it's a bit too fast. And also it's quite weak, so I kept getting hit and just like dying. So I think I would probably start with maybe the sword and shield guy, or maybe an archer to start with. So you're able to do the long range stuff and then have your main pawn or something else. But then you can hire 2 more pawns, so your group can be 4 people in total. And your secondary pawns, the 2 of them, you can change them out whenever you want.
So it's a party. You have a party.
Yeah, you have your own party, and you can kind of control them.
Multiplayer?
No. There is a little bit of it's not really multiplayer, but the pawn that you have, James, I could hire them as part of my party, and you could hire my pawn, or anyone else in the world. They have their pawns running around, so their characters aren't in there, but their pawns are there. So I could go up to a pawn and be like, oh hey, what's your stats, and have a look at them. What level are you? What vocation? Okay, I want you, and I'm going to kick out this guy that I've got because I don't really like him. I'm going to get this new pawn in that's going to do really well.
Okay.
So you kind of change out pawns quite quickly because your pawns do kind of level up.
Do they all meet somewhere? Like a pawn?
Yeah, kind of. So there's these like stones, rift stones.
Like a pawn hub?
There is a pawn hub. There is a pawn hub where all the pawns go.
Okay.
And it's called the Rift. And you go and find these rift stones, and if you open them, then you can choose other pawns from there.
Okay.
Or you can just find them walking around. And some of them are actually made by Capcom, and some of them are actually made by other characters. But like, for example, if my pawn gets used by other characters, then I get
level up, or you get XP from that, or no?
Yeah. So if people use my character, once I do a cycle, so I go to bed and wake up in the morning, if I rest, it will say, oh, your pawn has been on an adventure and he's gathered this equipment for you. And they also learn new things.
Oh, cool.
So if I'll be wondering, he'll be like, oh, when I was out with my other master, I found that there was a chest near here. Let me show you. And then you press like go, and then he'll go, okay, great. And then he'll take you to where the chest is.
Oh, amazing.
And then I could hire another pawn that might also have, their master has been to locations you haven't been, and then they'll go, oh, I know of a rift stone near here, let me show you. Stuff like that.
That's great.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
So the pawn thing is really cool, and they're actually quite good at fighting. The AI is quite good. I heard that if you get a thief, the AI thieves aren't very good, but the other ones seem to be fine. So
nice. How are the graphics?
Yeah, graphics are good.
Like, are they 2024? Like,
yeah,
good.
I would say so.
The world is expansive.
Yeah, like I've thought, wow, this looks really nice.
Is it like jungly, desert, like what sort of thing?
There's different areas. It's not jungly. It's more like, I feel like in the start, you're kind of like in England.
Like medieval.
They all have a really ye old English,
Yeah.
the way they're speaking. Hello there, great adventurer, type thing. But there is a desert part that I just got to, which is there's two races. So you have your humans, and then you have a cat people. I forgot what they're called.
Oh, like
Kathajat or something like that. So that other race, I've managed to go find them now.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're cool. But yeah, overall it's quite good. I think you've got to take it with a pinch of salt that you're going to be spending a lot of time walking around and figuring things out, figuring out your class and your combos and what skills to put where and how to utilize it. I am playing on mouse and keyboard on PC, but it is recommended that you play on controller.
I see.
Because they made the game for controller.
Okay.
So even when you load up the game, it does say you should use a controller. But you can use PC if you like.
Okay, great.
So I've been using it on PC and it's been fine. I haven't had any issues with it. And I've been really enjoying myself. And yeah, I'm definitely going to keep playing the game.
Awesome.
I'm really happy with it.
Out of 10 so far as a 20 hours in?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I would give it a 7 or an 8. Okay. Maybe an 8. I've got really immersed into it. I want to go jump back on and play again. Obviously, it is if I was 20 minutes in, you asked how you're enjoying it, I'll be like, like a 6 or whatever. But once you get past that thing and you start learning actually how to play the game, because it's a little bit complicated at the start.
Yeah.
And there is definitely like a learning curve. But if you're able to stick out that learning curve and you've got the time, then I would do it. I would stick with it. And now, instead at the start, I was just like storyline quest. But now I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to go explore, which I never do with games. I'm always like, there's nothing to explore. This is, no point in me going to explore this game.
There's reward for exploration.
Yeah. And you actually enjoy yourself a lot going exploring because you find new creatures, you find caves, you'll walk through a cave for a while and there's loot about and then there's goblins and whatever. And then all of a sudden there's like this, you go into like one bit of the cave and it's completely dark and then you hear this noise and you're like, what is that? And then it's like this giant animal creature thing and you've got to fight it and like, you're like, whoa.
Like enemy variety, is that good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's super expansive with that. But for instance, I opened a chest in a cave today, and when I opened the chest, this giant skeleton mage thing came out and started attacking me, and I was like, "Wow, this is quite cool. I haven't seen this thing before." So,
is there like the story to why that creature's there, or is there a lot of like lore, or is it just kind of
there's a lot of chatting with the NPCs, and I gotta be honest. I skip most of it. I'm like, boop, skip. There is one thing that's quite annoying. If they say like their line, they'll be like, "Oh, hello, adventurer. You know what I just found?" And there's like silence, and you're kind of waiting for them to continue, and then you're like, "Oh, I have to press F." So you have to press a button for them to then continue
to the next sentence.
Oh
my gosh!
And sometimes those sentences are like 3 words long. And they're like, what was that? And it's just like silence until you press F and then it carries on. And then like when you want to go to bed or like go for a rest, you go like, rest till morning. And then it says, and then your your pawn goes, we must get some rest, adventurer. And then I'm just like waiting for him to rest. I'm like, why isn't it resting? I've got to press F. So that's kind of annoying. But I've got used to it now. But at the start, I just kept going like, why is he stopped? Is it frozen? I've got to press the button.
That's weird.
So there was a bit of that at the start that was kind of annoying. But I tell you what, sorry, the combat, I haven't really spoken about the combat. The combat is fantastic.
Yeah.
The combat is really fun, really interesting. When you get new new spells with all the different vocations, I've always gone like, oh, this is awesome spell. Oh, this is awesome spell. Like, I've really enjoyed this one. And, oh, now I've got this thing. Like, I've got one now with my twin blade guy.
Yeah.
Who, he basically just, it's called like To the Moon or something like that. And you basically just welly them into the sky, like as far as you can see. And they just fly away, basically.
Amazing.
And like, yeah, the only thing is, it's like, oh, you won't be able to get the experience and the gold or their loot if you do it. But it's just really fun to just be like, boom, and they just literally just fly off into the nether. It's great. But the combat is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 right now. Really enjoying it. It's definitely my game. Obviously, it's probably, to some people it might be a 5, but for me, I would say I'll give it an 8.
That's pretty good. I'm gonna have to get my hands on it.
I think you should. I think you should. Yeah.
And I can lend you my pawn.
Yes.
And they can meet at the...
You know what? A lot of people actually, to make other people use their pawns more often, they make them quite attractive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they make their pawns very attractive. Females, mostly.
Okay.
And I did read online that people, it's like a thing that people are doing, so people use your pawns more often. And if I ever do stumble upon someone who's very not wearing much clothing, you do see like... Because basically, when you go to hire a pawn, it shows you how many likes and how many hearts they've been given.
Right.
And those ones have hundreds.
Oh, no.
Lots of people are using those pawns. So, yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Okay, great. Yes, so I've been playing something a little different recently. It's on Game Pass. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's been in development for a good few years.
Okay.
I think, in fact, almost 6 or 7. According to the developer. It's called Manor Lords. It's basically a medieval city builder.
Okay.
Slash battle simulator, or you... What's the game?
Is it like an Age of Empires type?
Kinda. So you kind of build a village and then you start to build an army at the same time, or whenever you want, really.
Yeah.
There's different modes you can play. The mode I'm playing in is I can take my time in building my village, and it sort of encapsulates, you resource management and getting people to move into your village so it slowly grows. You have like residences, families that do jobs. There's farming, cattle, whatever you want, just to sustain a small village, and it'll grow as you and there's industry as well, so you can create clothes, tools, weapons, whatever it is.
Okay, cool.
And then at the same time, or whenever you feel like it, in the mode I'm playing, is you can create an army, build an army. Obviously you have to feed the army, you have to supply weapons and clothes, but once you get big enough, you can then invade other territories and try to take over those territories as you would, say...
Are they real people, or is it
they're
NPCs?
Real people. Well, they're NPCs, yeah. You build up NPCs.
No, I mean the people you're attacking.
NPCs. At the moment it is, yeah.
So it's not like a PvP, it's all PvE.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So
I think that's nicer though, so people don't come... Do people come and attack you?
Well, you can change that in the settings. You can, if you have computer controlled, other like armies or bandits can come to your village and wreak havoc. But the setting I have is quite casual, so I'm just like experimenting. Plus, it's still in early access technically. It's been released on Game Pass and it's on Steam for a bit of money, not too much, but it's still in early access. So they haven't fully fleshed out the rest of the game. So the other territories don't exist yet. I think there's one maybe, but yeah, I find it really, really, really like realistic, really realistic. Very engaging. You can walk around your village as well as as an emperor or whatever you are, or like a leader.
No way, and people like salute you or whatever.
No, they don't notice you.
You
can just like do like a walking around mode.
Okay.
In third person, which is pretty cool. So once you've built your village, you can explore it or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, you said first person.
As a third person.
Third
character.
person.
So you go down onto the level, but it's still third person.
Yeah.
And you can walk around the streets. You can go into the.
That's cool. I am your creator.
Gardens. Yeah. Bow before me, and then it's got a lot of potential. I've sunk a few hours into it, and it's my sort of thing. It's very relaxing as well. You can make it what you want.
Yeah. Have you ever played Age of Empires?
Yeah, briefly.
Because I was obsessed with that game when I was like, 10 or 11 or something
Yeah.
like that. I used to play it all the time. And it kind of sounds like a more intricate Age of Empires. Obviously, a lot better graphic. I mean, this is
It's more down to earth, or like actual. You're with the people. They have their lives. They act as families.
Yeah.
You know, you can build a house and they move in, and then you can expand that house, or you can give them a garden to grow their own food, which helps the community as well. So you can have a vegetable patch or raise chickens.
But if you've got such a big, if you expand your city to quite big, do you still have to focus on all the little people?
No, not really. I mean, they're all quite automated.
Self-contained. Yeah,
they can do what they want, as long as you can assign a family to a certain industry, or assign a family to do berry gathering or foraging or hunting.
But then you must, as you grow, have to have many families doing berry gathering, and many families doing.
As your city grows, people move into the houses that you build. So you build houses as you go, and then wait till they get occupied, because your level will go up, basically, the more you do. And then
so every time someone moves into a new house, do you then have to assign them what they're going to do?
You can. Otherwise, they'll
figure it out.
Or they'll help around the village, or they'll help build things, or they'll help gather resources. And
so
stuff.
They do their own thing, to help
it.
you out, kind of thing. Yeah.
And obviously, once the village is big enough, then farms and things can open up, and then you have a good resource of food and drink and whatever. Yeah, it's really cool. It may sound a little dull, but once you get into the dynamics of it, and once you get to that army building part, I think it's quite fun. So it's got a long way to go.
No, interesting.
But good.
Oh, have you got a score for it yet, or are you too early in?
I would say it's like an 8 as well.
Oh, okay. A James 8.
Yeah, it's my sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's funny, like one of the guys on our team, Philip, he told me today, I've just got this new game and I'm obsessed with it and I love it. And that's Grey Zone Warfare, which is like just the other end of the spectrum to what you're doing. But I mean, that's the thing about gaming. There's something for everyone, right?
Yeah, everyone has their thing, has their preference.
But yeah, awesome. Manor Lords, go and check that one out. I might just touch quickly on Grey Zone Warfare, because we did do it as one of our videos. We did like top 5 FPS games coming out, and that was one of them. It's
a military shooter, is it?
Yeah, so it's quite like it's supposed to be like quite realistic. It's kind of like an Escape from Tarkov kind of game, where like you land with your team. It's got proximity chat. You have to go and gather like resources and band-aids if you're injured, and but the actual shooting and everything's it's Unreal Engine 5. It's quite realistic. So when you like zoom in on your scope and stuff, it doesn't look like when you're on Call of Duty and you zoom in on your scope and you can see someone like they're almost standing right in front of you and you just kind of thing.
Right.
It's not like that at all. Like you don't know if you killed someone, so you could shoot someone and you could be like, are they dead? I don't know. There's no hit marker. There's no like graphic or any noise that shows you that you've killed that person.
So it's like super realistic sort of.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really realistic.
Warfare.
It is, again, kind of same with Manor Lords. It is kind of still, I mean, I don't think it's quite like they're not calling it early access, I don't think, but they're having a few teething issues. Or is it early? It might actually be early access anyway. They definitely had some feedback straight away. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So they've there's already been some patches after day one. Most of the time people do hot patches on day one anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it will definitely, as time goes by, it will get a little bit more polished. But you know what? You need that. You need lots of people playing the game, and you need people to give you that feedback.
Exactly.
So I think it makes sense.
It looks very, very nice.
Yeah, it looks really cool. All Unreal Engine 5. The combat, the guns. It looks pretty slick. So if that's what you're into, instead of Manor Lords, maybe go check that out. We'll give it a couple of weeks, and maybe we'll get Philip on the podcast to talk about his experiences with Grey Zone Warfare, because he loves his FPS games.
Perfect. Yeah.
And yeah. So it's definitely one for you FPS fans. But the one thing I have heard is like, when you play Call of Duty, it's quite fast paced. This is slow paced. Like some people said the maps are so big, it's just too slow paced.
Yeah.
but it's supposed to be more realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it kind of makes sense that it's sort of slow paced. But there's already been some funny clips out there, as you always get with gaming. There was one where this group of guys came across this one guy, and they killed his team, and there was one guy left, and he was like, "No, guys, don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me! Like, please, 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 I surrender! Like, just let me go, and I'll just go on my way and whatever." And they were like, "Oh, yeah, okay, dude," kind of thing. Anyway, the guy started running away, and then he turned around. He's like, "Why are you turning around?" And then they just see him lob a grenade at them.
Right back at them.
Yeah, right back at them. Like, "No, let me go." And then he throws like a hand grenade or a frag grenade or whatever. But again, like, you can't see, like, you know, in other games, it shows you, oh, there's a hand grenade like towards your right side, like run left side. When he throws the hand grenade, they have no idea where that hand grenade's come from. They just see him throwing a grenade and they just start running, you know. But they don't exactly know where it's going to land or where it's going to end up. Exactly, yeah. So you know, it looks quite fun, and I think especially if you had like a team of 3 or 4 guys, or girls, just people in general, then you could have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, Grey Zone Warfare, early access right now. Do you have a cost on there, James? Do you know the price?
It's about 92 dirhams.
92 dirhams. So what's like $25 or
something like that?
$30, something like that. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, $25, I think, around that. Cool. So not too bad. You know, it's not a full price game by any means.
Nice.
If you wanted to just, you know, check it out and have a go. So there you go. There's 3 games so far: Dragons Dogma 2, Manor Lords, and also Grey Zone Warfare. All 3 very different games.
Different
but
tastes.
We've all been enjoying our experiences of them.
Yeah,
which is good.
There's even more to kind of differentiate. You know, shows the gaming industry's variety, and Stellar Blade is one. Yeah,
I've heard some really good things. I haven't had a chance to. Well, it only came out like a few days ago as the date of recording this podcast, which is the 1st of May.
Action RPG. Apparently is the highest user scored PS5 game ever.
Wow.
According to Forbes.
That is... I mean, how long have people been playing it, though? It came out like a week ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's pretty incredible. How many people have reviewed it? 3? Like,
yeah, and they're probably all men.
Yeah.
There's a very
sexual.
Very sexy protagonist.
I have seen a video that I think IGN posted or something, and they just showed all the like a bunch of different costumes that you can get.
Yeah.
Some are in like very skinny bikinis of the main character lady.
Yes. But apart from that, it's actually quite a fun, it's very Japanese. It's a Japanese, futuristic, very over the top, like near automata-ish.
Yeah,
you know, that sort of genre of game.
Yes, I mean, like, you know, for those that aren't as big into their Japanese games, you could say it looks a little bit like Final Fantasy 16 type game. Yeah, you've got the combat and the you know, the bosses and stuff like that. It looks quite Final Fantasy, but with its own spin and its own, you know, kind of thing on. And it's not quite open world, is it? It's quite... There is like a small open world element to it, but I think a lot of it is actually just...
linear.
Pretty linear. Yeah.
Yes, that's similar to Final Fantasy 16.
I gotta be honest, I never played it. I heard how long it takes to play that game, so I just thought, no.
But that's very like open world, inverted commas.
Yeah.
But it's very sort of, you've got one directive.
Yeah, go this way, then go that way. And then you, like, from what I heard, it's like, you know, you could be going in a place and then you go off onto like a side place and you're going round there and doing another sort of thing, but then you end up back on the main road that you're going to that main place. So it's not like open world, go anywhere. If there is side things that come up compared to, like, you know, the main linear way you're going, there could be tangents, but they all lead back to the main linear line of story and everything, which is fine. But no, like, the combat looks crazy cool in that.
Yeah, worth checking out. And like, as I say, it's one of the most popular rated PS5 games of all time. So it not by its own right, but it ties with Resident Evil 4, Cyberpunk 2077,
Crazy.
By Astro's Playroom, which is like the first game that any PS5 owner
Yeah.
is, right? And then followed by Neo Remastered, Final Fantasy Rebirth, the Talos Principle 2. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
a puzzler, that one. And then Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 2, and Marvel's Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Speaking of lists,
I mean, that's a great list of games. Imagine like being able to create a game that's up there with them in ratings. Then yeah, it's great.
Speaking of lists, I'm going to quickly go through some new releases for May.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we've got some nice ones.
Yeah.
Nice games. One of them, this is maybe for more of the millennials, millennial generation, but Homeworld 3.
Oh, I did see the trailer for this.
Yeah, so Homeworld was, back in maybe the 2000s.
I never knew about Homeworld.
It's like a strategy game, but set in space.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, very loosely, like Command and Conquer or something like that, but it was with your little spaceships, and you make a little base in space, and you build
a space base.
Space base, basically.
Yeah.
But it's very, very basic form of it, but very strategic.
Yeah.
And so that was quite popular, Homeworld 1 and 2. So I think it's been like a 10-year gap or even longer, I'm not sure. But yeah, Homeworld 3 out May 13th this month.
Okay, very cool.
On top of that, there is, I think, one for you, World of Warcraft Cataclysm Classic.
Cataclysm.
Sorry, Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Classic.
To be honest, that was the expansion that I started playing. Like I was big into World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
With the previous 2 expansions.
Okay.
But when Cataclysm came out, it just kind of gave you too much to do, and it was just too time consuming. And I think I got a girlfriend around the same time as well.
Yes.
So
distractions.
that threw a spanner in the works. And yeah, I think I did play that expansion, and I did play the one after that, which is Mr. Pandaria. But I didn't play it as much as I played the one before, which was the Wrath of the Lich King.
Right, okay.
I played Wrath of the Lich King like it was nobody's business, like way too much. Like it was bad how much I was playing that game. I think I put hundreds of days into that game on one character alone, and I've got many characters. So, but yeah, the classic's been pretty cool for people bringing stuff out. But what's the update on it?
I don't know. I just saw it on the list, and it comes out my birthday.
Oh, okay, cool. No, nice. No, it's good. I mean, essentially in the World of Warcraft saga.
It's like a re-release or something? Or?
No, so World of Warcraft Classic was like, so they did all the World of Warcraft, right? So they did, the vanilla WoW, which is like the first iteration of World of Warcraft. Then they did Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Mr. Pandaria, whatever. They're on like Dragon something right now. But then they decided like maybe 3-4 years ago, hey, we're going to bring back classic World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So they basically brought out, you could either play the normal World of Warcraft or you could play the classic World of Warcraft, which was the base game that came out in the first place. Okay. Which got a lot of people actually back into World of Warcraft, and it really, in a way, like, not that I wouldn't say saved the franchise, but it definitely brought it back into a good place, for them. Then they brought out the expansion of Burning Crusade, and then they brought out the Wrath of the Lich King, and then now they're on Cataclysm. But yeah, I mean, I get it, and I think it's been nostalgic. But then I just thought, like, are they eventually just going to make it classic too, and they go all the way back to vanilla WoW again, Because they're just going to catch up to, like, the main one now or whatever. I see. But they're just trying to give more content for the people that play WoW. And, WoW is a subscription-based game. You have to pay every single month to play it. Yeah. So, they've got to keep giving them, something for their money. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I did see that actually. I mean, I followed the page, and they did. I think usually what happens when you have the different patches or the different expansions, they then add patches throughout, like major patches that will add new content. Yeah. So add new raids, add new dungeons, add new gear, add new whatever stuff like that. So so that's probably something like what they're doing for that one.
Okay. Fair enough.
but yeah, I mean, it's a fun game, and I know a lot of people who are like couples, who are, you know, older couples with kids and whatever, and they play it together because it's a very good game to be able to play together.
Oh, that's good.
My wife just watched. She's just having none of it, unfortunately. But
Got to win her over at some point.
Mate, I've tried so many times. We played a bit of Tekken recently. Yeah. She plays with Nina, and she just beats me.
Wow.
But I started beating her, so she got a bit upset.
Oh.
Yeah, I picked a character that, you do the randomize.
Yeah.
I randomized on the panda. And I thought, oh no, I got the panda, I'm going to lose. Anyway, panda's really good. I was actually doing quite well with that.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, plenty of games to think about there.
Exactly. There's another one called, I don't know if you're familiar with the Hellblade.
Yes, that's coming out. Yes, so I saw a lot of stuff around that. Yeah,
Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga. Something I dabbled in. I dabbled in the first one a few years ago, and it's an interesting one. Visually, very, very stunning, very good. It sort of tells a story from Senua, who is sort of, it's all set in like a medieval dark time, fictional time. But it plays a lot on sort of mental health and how it's sort of depicted in her own mind. And
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and it sort of showcases obviously a very good graphics, facial tracking as well.
Yeah. Okay.
To give that very realistic feel.
Yeah.
And it's very atmospheric. So I'm looking forward to the second one, which probably just follows on from the first story.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of hype around that, and I definitely am interested to give it a go and see what the hype is all about.
Yes, Unreal Engine 5, but yes, out on May 21st.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of good games coming out in May. I've actually started writing a video, which is the top 10 games coming out in May. I just haven't finished it yet, so hopefully I'll get that out within the next few days, maybe over the weekend I'll bang it out.
Nice.
So hopefully I'll have that. Speaking of top 10 though, I did do a top 10 PS5 games of 2024, so I can quickly run through the list of that for you.
Sure thing.
Now these are all the games that we've got pretty much confirmed. Some of them are don't have a release date, but they did say it's definitely 2024, but who knows, this is the gaming industry, people push things back all the time.
Yeah.
But one that is for sure coming out, that is Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, these are in no particular order.
Okay.
These are just 10 games that, it doesn't mean Star Wars Outlaws is at number 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is just 10 games in general. So yeah, obviously Star Wars Outlaws is the first open world game from a Star Wars game.
Amazing.
First open world Star Wars
Completely open world. Yeah.
Yes. And it looks cool. So it's set between The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi, if you know that. Yeah. You play as the main character, Kay Vess, who is alongside her sidekick, Nyx, who's like a little robot-y type thing. No, not a robot, sorry. It's like a little creature with like some crazy hair, tentacle looking things.
I think I've seen him, yeah.
Yeah, but it looks really cool. It doesn't seem like there's any lightsabers in there. I don't know if they'll come later on, but so far we haven't seen any of that. You're kind of more playing like a Han Solo type character.
I see. Okay.
Which looks really cool. And it's coming out August 30th, all right, of this year. So a really good end of summer game.
Not far off, yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice if it was like during summer, so you could play it a bit more. But end of summer, August 30th. So yeah, like that one's going to be really big. I'm really excited for that one. Obviously by Ubisoft, and so far what we've seen, it looks pretty clean.
Okay.
It looks pretty good. The story looks good. The fighting looks good. You can like fly your spaceship around like kind of like Millennium Falcon style, and have like fights, and you can jump to hyperspace. Like, and there's no like cutscenes and stuff. If you go from like getting in your ship on a planet and then taking off. Like, you literally get in your ship and take off. There's no cutscene. You get in and you start flying it, and you have to exit the atmosphere.
Ah, cool.
So it's like
No Man's Sky almost.
Yeah.
You leave the atmosphere.
Yeah. But it looks really cool. So I'm excited for that. More into the horror style of game, Silent Hill 2.
Oh, yes.
This is a remake of the 2001 classic, of course. Developed by the Bloober team, if you know them. They've done a couple of horror games before, but obviously they have the the challenge of trying to remake a pretty classic game.
Yeah.
But so far, what I've seen on the trailer, the teaser trailer, it looks pretty good. I think this is exclusive, I want to say, to PlayStation.
PS5.
I think so.
Because they did release, I think it is one of their their what's the word I'm looking for?
Their property. They're publishing it. It's one of their studios.
Forget it. But they did release they released a free game on PS5.
Okay.
Silent Hill World. It told a short story.
One of their IPs.
That's the one.
There we go. Okay, I'm with you now. Intellectual properties.
Yeah. So there was a free. Game.
Okay.
And I played that. It's very cool.
It looks terrifying. I gotta be honest. Like, I don't mind horror. I'm not great with horror games. Like, I played Resident Evil 4. There was a few scary moments, but for the most part, I was alright with it. But looking at the trailers and stuff that they put about of Silent Hill 2, it's getting really realistic, obviously, compared to the old franchise stuff. And I also think we haven't seen much good stuff from Silent Hill in a while.
Not really.
So it is quite nice.
That was years ago.
Yeah, there hasn't been like a mainline story game in a while, especially with this quality.
Yeah.
So hopefully, for all those horror fans out there, this one will really tick all your boxes. Obviously, it is kind of Resident Evil-like, but the setting and everything's a little bit different.
Yeah, I bet. Okay.
It's a bit more freaky. Like, the characters that are coming at you are like just weird.
Yeah.
Like, not just like scary or whatever. They're like just messed up. It's but yeah, also I'm really excited for this one. It looks really cool. It's Black Myth Wukong. Don't know if you've seen that.
That's the one with the monkey guy.
Yeah, so it's a Chinese mythology action RPG. It's actually based on a classic novel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But yeah, that one's really cool. It kind of looks Souls-like with the boss battles, the character design. The character design is really on point. Like, it looks really nice.
Looks stunning, yeah.
Yeah.
Graphic.
And the boss battles and everything, it looks pretty intricate. And you've really got to learn the boss, and you've really got to like dodge at this point and do this and this move. And the combat definitely is going to be the selling point on that game, I think.
Yeah.
Storyline and all that, not sure, but I guess we'll see. August 20th for that one.
Okay.
Sorry, Silent Hill 2. There's no actual release date set, but it did say 2024. So,
all right.
So we'll see. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Already out.
Yeah.
Got good reception.
Yeah.
People like it. Everyone who played, obviously, this is a remake of Final Fantasy VII, but it's like the second in the saga of remakes. So they're not just remaking the game; they're remaking it into a trilogy.
The remake trend, everyone's jumping on board.
Yeah, but I think it's with this type of game that's like such a beloved game. I some people go, "Oh, don't leave the classics," but
yeah.
I think it is quite good being able to, with the technology jump that we've had since the first game was made. It is nice being able to tell that same story, but in a much better graphical setting.
Yeah.
And also people that weren't able to experience it back in whenever it came out, like 30 years ago, they're now able to play it and be like, oh yeah, this is a really cool game. And I wasn't able to play the original because I wasn't born or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really cool. So, but anyway, yeah, obviously, it is obviously a Japanese RPG from Square Enix. I always say their name wrong.
Square Enix.
Sometimes I say Enix, but like it's got an E in it though. Enix. Who knows? But anyway, obviously fans of the franchise have been enjoying it, and apparently people that aren't really into the franchise have been enjoying it as well.
Yeah, easy way to get in.
And I also heard you don't need to necessarily play the remake before you play the rebirth. But if you want to know the whole lore and storyline, then play them both. But but I think you can still enjoy it as a standalone game. Another Ubisoft one that's already out, came out at the start of the year, and I think they started off pretty strong, was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yes.
Very cool. Obviously, they wanted to take Prince of Persia and go back to kind of the 2D action platformer roots that they had before. But it does have kind of like some sort of 3D elements thrown in there.
I think I played it on MS-DOS back in the day. Floppy disk.
That's crazy. I love how you had to explain that. Floppy disk.
Yes.
Explain what a floppy disk is as well, James.
It's a disk. It's funny because a disk, it's called a floppy disk, but it's not very floppy. It's actually quite solid.
That's true. Maybe floppy stood for something else.
Maybe it did.
Like flack long, some geeky term. I don't know.
Yeah, some weird term.
Probably not.
But it's weird because like just to add there, the save icon in like Microsoft Word or whatever it is. Some like new age or younger people don't actually know what that icon is.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
Or what it represents.
Yeah.
And it's a floppy disk.
That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, that one's out already. So if you want to go check out a cool little 2D action platformer, you don't need to play it for hours on end to enjoy it. Just play it for half an hour, put it down. I think that's what it's good for.
Done. Switch-like. It's very portable.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Very easy to play. In at number 5, Rise of the Ronin. Very cool game. It is
so like Japanese.
Yes. So this one is a samurai adventure from 19th century Japan.
That's right.
It is an open world adventure game with, again, kind of, I wouldn't say it's quite Souls-like, but the combat can be challenging and intricate. There's a large variety of weaponry you can use. You get like gliders, you can ride horses. You can actually ride your glider and summon your horse and jump on your horse from your glider and stuff like that. It's quite cool. I heard from some sources that I checked out that it is a little bit buggy at the start. It's not super polished, but it's got better. It was made by the guys who did was it Neo and Neo 2?
Yeah,
I think it was those guys, the Team Ninja.
Yeah.
So it's made by those guys, but no, it looks really cool.
Nice.
From what I saw about it, like it's I watched a bunch of content on it because we made a video on the top 10 and I used this one, and definitely if you're kind of waiting for Ghost of Tsushima 2 or you want something similar to it but just a bit of fun, it's not as polished as Ghost of Tsushima, I would say. But it's still good fun. I don't think you can have to compare one game to another game. I reckon you'll still really enjoy yourself playing this one.
Okay.
So yeah, Rise of the Ronin. It's cool.
Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah.
Got it.
Especially if you like, your samurai-esque games.
Yeah,
I feel like it really immerses you in that as well. We got Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, which is like the remake, basically.
Yeah.
Again, we've literally got like a 1-minute trailer that just doesn't give you anything. But apparently...
Is that the Snake Eater one?
Yeah.
It is Snake Eater, yeah.
Apparently it's coming... Yeah, it's Snake Eater, yeah. Apparently it's coming in later this year.
Okay, cool.
But we've literally got like nothing. There's no gameplay. There's just like a trailer.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Number 3, Dragons Dogma 2.
Of course.
I've been playing it, very much enjoy it. Like I said earlier, it is obviously like an open world game, RPG kind of thing. Available out now on PS5. I think if you're
PC and Xbox as well, right?
It is, yeah. It's on PC and Xbox as well, but they did say it's made for controller, so if you want to play it on PS5, I think you'll have a really good time doing it. I mainly put it on PC because I like to record the content and I find it easier to record the content through PC.
Okay.
That's the main reason for me, and it's just I've got all my setup there. My PlayStation's in my living room, so I have to play it. I've got the baby and but yeah, I would say I talked about Dragon's Dogma a lot earlier on the podcast, so if you want to zoom back and listen to that, then you can.
8 out of 10.
I have given it an 8 out of 10. But yeah, it's already out now, so go check that one out.
Great.
Number 2, Tekken 8, obviously came out right at the start of the year. And with a bang. We actually went to the launch of the Tekken 8 here in Dubai. And we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Looks great.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And then we went a Comic-Con. They had a gaming zone and they had a showcase between 2 of the biggest Tekken 8 players, well, Tekken players in general, Arslan, Ash, and Nee, and they did like 1st to 10, and it was fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it was great to watch.
So as an esport, it's great. They've added a bunch of new features for Tekken 8, just to try and make it a little bit, more interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's the 8th in the edition. They need to kind of spice it up. So there's a lot of new features in there that you can go check out. Obviously the music, I always really enjoy the music. It's always loud and so that's fun. But yeah, so go check out Tekken 8. There's some new characters in there, and I think you'll enjoy it. Number 1, James, I think you might be able to talk more about this one. I think Persona 3 Reload.
Oh.
Did you play the previous ones?
I played them lightly. I'm not a heavy Persona user, if you will.
So it is a JRPG, and it is another remake. We've got a lot of remakes on this list this year. There's a lot of remakes.
Trending.
But yeah, it's like blending the classic elements of the original with kind of some modern enhancements, if you like.
It's a very crazy, hectic JRPG. Very, like a lot of different elements or game.
Oh my goodness.
Elements rolled into one.
It's literally like, during the day, it's one game, and during the night, it's a different game.
Yeah.
Like not your day and night, the in-game day and night. Like during the day, you're like not a school teacher, you're like a student. So you run around, you do like missions, you talk to people, you do stuff like, almost above ground. And then at nighttime, you go into like this other place where you have your personas and you fight battles, and it's kind of like turn-based in a way. And yeah, like it's mental. If you look into it deeply, you're like, this game looks crazy.
There's loads of them.
Yeah.
Persona 1, 2, 3.
But they always do,
5.
like there's a lot of people interested in them. There's a big following for this game.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, it's not for me, but I do see the appeal as well, and I do see why it's quite a cool game.
Yeah, so likewise, I'm not hugely into it, but I gave it a go, and it's very arcadey. It's a very sort of particular taste, an acquired taste is what I mean.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's your top 10.
Yeah, and like
right
it's only May. Not even halfway through the year, and there's so much.
There's so much
to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, this is actually on our YouTube and on our website. You can check this out. Daily-gamer.net is our got some news on there for the top 10 PS5 games 2024. But if you also want to check out our YouTube video, it's on there. It's just Daily Gamer Official on YouTube. Our logo is a little DG. And if you type in top 10 PS5 games 2024, hopefully we'll show up for you. But yeah, like it's we're going to be putting out a lot more of these top 10, top 5 stuff. I've got a top, like I was mentioning, we're going to do a top 10 games for May. I've got some, I'm going to do an Xbox One and also Xbox Game Pass. What can you play on Xbox Game Pass? Like, so you got free games on there if you're an Xbox user. So we've got all these videos coming. If there's any videos that you want us to do for you, or anything you're kind of like, oh, I do this, and what type of games can I play? We'll be happy to make some videos on there and do a bit of research and figure out. I mean, we'll use our own, we try and play as many games as we can as well. But yeah, we're always here to give our feedback on things. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Daily Gamer podcast number 32.
Yes.
Was there anything else you wanted to mention, James?
I'm good for today.
Yeah.
This is a bit of an update from us.
Yeah, pretty much an update. Just all the games we've been playing and having fun with. Yeah. But let us know, reach out. Daily-gamer.net is our website. If you want to send us a email, you can send it to info@daily-gamer.net. And we'd love to hear, what games you're playing. Would love to know if you have any questions for us specifically. And yeah, we'll see you for podcast number 33.
33. See you then.
Hey, we both did that. Were you going to do that anyway?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You're part Irish, aren't you? So.
Yeah, I'm half Irish.
Do you have family that do 33?
Nah, more Northern Ireland.
Oh, wait.
33.
33. Yeah. 33.
33, so it is.
33. It's still fun to say.
Yeah.
Anyway. All good. Well, thank you for listening until the end, for you that are still here.
Yes.
And we will see you next on podcast number 33. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.